Greetings, everyone, from the center of a fire. We've had a pretty decent fire, not that far away from here. In fact, I was 6 miles away from having to be evacuated, straight down there, but we'll talk about that in a short bit. I wanted to kind of do like this quick little impromptu video about what happens if you are in an area where there's a fire. What you should do, what you should not do. Granted, I'm not going to go over safety. They say get out, and you should get out, but I'm more or less talking about like your lawn, or your yard, your plants, even your animals. So as you can tell, this is sand. I'm in the middle of that project still, not quite done yet. But this right here is all ash. This is after it's been pretty significant winds for the last 3 days. This is actually the cause of the fire. I blew everything to crap. I mean, as you can tell, it's pretty windy right now. You probably could hear it. But plants destroyed. That's over there is getting better, but it was pretty bad. So I did a lawn prep video, in which case I'm going to be prepping that. Right now, today, I'm going to be taking off all these seeds. But assuming that you actually have grass, it's going to dry it out pretty heavily, especially with the wind. You're going to want to water a little bit more than you technically would normally. That's going to do two things. And keep it dry. If you are getting close to an area that's going to be having a fire, which as you can tell, there's usually like a tree line down there, but now you can't see anything. But if you are next to a fire, that's going to kind of at least help it not burn your house down. Give it some type of resistance. I'm in an interesting position because all the ash that fell on dirt. I'm going to water it in. Ash is going to be a little bit different. It's not really going to be too harmful unless it's really thick. You still don't want it on anything, especially your plants or grass. If you wash it in, it should be fine. It's going to lower your pH a little bit, or adjust it really, not really lower it. That's fine. If you later in the year take a soil sample, figure out what you need to do to adjust, go from there. But in general, you're probably not going to notice a difference. Something that I did do, something I would definitely recommend doing, is down there is where the fire was going to come. And I don't know if you can tell, but it's like bright orange outside right now. The camera's not showing us justice. But I cleaned out as much of this as I could at the time with a big weed eater. And now I'm going to do a little bit more. First things first, you have some plants, water them, water the foliage of it, wash it off as much as you can. If you have a pond like this, drain it, refill it, cover it if you can. Winds can make that difficult, but if you can't, drain it, refill it, drain it, refill it. Garage dog is finding a mole, hopefully. But this is why she's not going to be let out here when I plant the grass. But, yeah. Animals, just go right there. You don't want them outside very often. Even me right now, I have a mask. I'm not wearing it right now because it's really hard to hear me with the mask on, but wear one. Don't overexert yourself. I'm just going to mow my front yard, water it, water all my plants, and put a little bit of fertilizer on there just to kind of pick them up, because with this low level of light for days at a time, it's going to be kind of rough for them. So fertilizer kind of help them recoup at the end of it. I don't suspect it's going to be too much longer. I mean, granted, we're still not very far away. Like I said, 6 miles down that road with stage 3 get out last night. And it kind of stayed that way. In fact, I think it still is that way, but from what I hear, it seems to be lessening. And I can see daylight. which is a substantial difference than it was yesterday around 5 o'clock, which right now it's only 2 o'clock. And it doesn't get dark until 7:30, 7:45, so it's still at 2.5 minimum hours of daylight, and it was pitch black. So it was pretty heavy. Fire started about, I think it was 14 or 15 miles away, and in less than a day, less than 24 hours, it had covered all the way until 6 miles from over there. So that's about 9 miles. A little bit of a scary occasion. So that happens. Be safe. I watered everything pretty heavily. The wind dried it up pretty good though. You want to keep everything wet and moist. That way, kind of prevent. It puts more of a barrier between anything that's burning and yourself. So that's good. But you shouldn't be here if there is something that close. That's just to help prevent any type of damage, which you're going to have, most likely, unless you somehow avoid it. Clean out anything that's dead and dry. That's what I'm cleaning out over there. This field is pretty dirt filled, and the vines are pretty green, so that's not too bad, but they'll burn. It's a blackberry farm. Of course they're going to burn. And just kind of be normal. I'm going to clean my, like I said, the grass, the plants. The dog I'm going to put inside because she's been out too long. I don't want her to be suffering adverse situations from this. Hey! So, kind of impromptu, something I just want to show. I'm going to get cleaning, take out all the ash, wipe them off the trees, spray all my plants, do everything else. Okay, see everyone later. Have a good night. Bye. So kind of just like a little addition. I know that this started kind of out of nowhere, so you may not have the opportunity to do everything. Got my mask on, probably can't hear a single word. But just do what you can. The important thing is get your belongings, your paperwork. I have a pond. If you have a pool, if you can't take something, you can put it in there if it's waterproof and it might survive. Essentials, a pillow, toilet paper, things that you wouldn't assume that you need, but you will need. Get all that stuff ready, put it in the corner, and just be prepared. Listen to your local emergency numbers or websites. Follow them accurately and closely. Okay, so that should be about it. Just want to go over my local scenario. I know Washington and California are going through something very similar, but this is mine. It's pretty fast and pretty daunting. Okay, see everyone later. Be safe. Have a good night.